Ja, herzlich willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe vom SI Talk. Ich bin noch immer in Vancouver. Sie wissen ja, ich war die ganze Woche, oder ich bin die ganze Woche hier in Vancouver, mache natürlich auch interessante Interviews. Deswegen nütze ich die Chance, um mit Jim Robertson ein neues Interview zu führen. Wir haben schon in der Vergangenheit bezüglich Blackheath mehrere Interviews gemacht. Meine Vergangenheit mit ihm ist ja schon viel, viel länger. Bevor wir eher Blackheath gemacht haben, haben wir Primary Metals gemacht, die dann übernommen worden ist. Dann Riverstone, die jetzt mittlerweile True Gold worden sind. Und jetzt sind wir halt bei Blackheath gelandet und auch wieder zurück zur Basis, nämlich bei Wolfram gelandet. Jim, thank you to have time again. We have a long-term relationship since 10 years or 12 years ago, starting with primary metals, then Riverstone, now True Gold, and finally coming back to tungsten.
Yes.
We make with Blackheath some interviews in the past, so maybe you can give us a quick overview what you're doing in the last 6 to 9 months. What was happened?
Yeah, well, I think, Joe, as you know, and incidentally, thank you for your time as well, because it's a pleasure to be here. But I think the background, of course, for Blackheath is that we've established ourselves as one of the primary holders of past tungsten mines in Portugal, and we're setting out to be the dominant producer of tungsten in Portugal as time goes forward. Portugal certainly was one of the main suppliers of tungsten to Europe, to Germany, to the industrial countries of Europe historically, and we'd certainly like to see Portugal going back to that position. So we're currently holding 5 of the top past producing tungsten mines of Portugal, and the 3 key projects that I'll just touch on today are the Covas project, which was our initial project that has historic resources that were established by Union Carbide back in 1980, and those have not been touched, and there's room for expansion. And at Covas, we have been drilling this year. We just completed a drill program just before Christmas. We're getting those final assays through now, so we do expect in the next few weeks to have assay results that we'll be putting forward. We're hopeful that we'll complete a 43-101 resource estimate to confirm and maybe improve what we had before for our historic estimates. And that will be forthcoming news, I think, in the next several weeks and the next month or two. With respect to our second project that I mentioned, which is Boralia, Boralia is a little different from from Covas, which is a higher grade deposit and smaller overall tonnage. Boralia has the potential of being a multi-million ton bulk tonnage open pit deposit. It's a very large breccia zone that is mineralized throughout with tungsten. And our initial drill program has indicated some very encouraging results for us. Again, we've only just finished it and we haven't got all of the results back yet, but those results as well will be forthcoming. And that has the potential for a multi-million ton deposit, somewhat similar to perhaps the Hemerdon project in the UK, which is undergoing construction right now. But the third project that really came to our attention in a slightly different way was the Bejanca tungsten and tin project. And this is another large permit area that we hold. And in addition to the hard rock potential, there is also an alluvial material sitting right on surface. And we came across results from a California engineer that were done back in the 1950s, quite some time ago. But with that historic resource, there's apparently, by his work, there's around 6 million tons. This is worth, at current metal prices, probably somewhere around $500 million. It's sitting right on surface in gravels in the top few meters. And in terms of value per ton, at recovered values at current prices, somewhere around $50 to $60 a ton. So it looks quite attractive. And what we need to do now, of course, is to go out and confirm the work that was done historically.
Mean this as Bejanca has the potential that it's going near-term in production?
Yeah, I think there is the potential for Bejanca to go into production earlier than Covas and Boralia. It's sitting on surface. It's basically almost an earth-moving situation with a simple process involving gravity separation. You're not looking at anything particularly complicated, and it's the sort of operation that can be started off on a smaller to medium scale. and then expanded. It could be a modular operation, expanded as time goes on. We have to look at that in quite a bit more detail, and one of our first steps will be to put more surface trenching in and some large auger holes to confirm the assay results that the engineers showed historically.
Okay, this was most was happened in the last few months, but mean this also that 2015 is also a big focus on this Bejanca project, or?
Yeah, I think so. We had thought that perhaps by now we would be in a position that we would be focusing only on one project, but it does look like both our Beranca and COVAS projects are of a different nature, but they are certainly projects that we need to pursue to take them to the next stage. But the Bejanca project is something that we have to pay attention to because of the early production opportunity we have there, and it's going to be relatively straightforward, I think, after our trenching and exploration activities to confirm a resource that would be sufficient to put an operation on so that we can start production maybe in the next 18 months. That's a bit of a guesstimate, but that would be something that I think would generate cash flow for us so that we can continue our work without adding dilution to our shares.
That's great news. Then, you know, especially the German hate dilution. I hate dilution. But coming for the next 12 months, what is your CAPEX, what you're planning to spend in general in Portugal, and in which area, and also the other project, will you spend?
Yeah, I think that's certainly a fair question. We announced just before Christmas a financing for $2 million, and that was at a premium, a 40-odd% premium to our current market price. The financing is 40 cents for $2 million. It has a half warrant exercisable at 53 cents. We've closed the first tranche of that. We have to go through some more paperwork and a bit more activity to complete the rest of it, but that will be forthcoming. So that's $2 million plus funds that we already had, and I think that will take us through, or can take us through, certainly through the bulk of this coming year. And that would probably be spent 40% to Bejanca, 40% to Beranca, 20% to the COVAS operation. And that's an estimate at the moment. And obviously, if we're able to arrange more financing at attractive prices going forward, we probably would do that so that we can move our company forward more quickly.
Coming back to Bejanca, you say, hopefully, or best guess is 18 months that maybe possible cash flow can come. A lot of maybes, you know,
yeah,
we are in this business long time ago, so maybe is the second word of the resource investment world.
Yeah, our first step is to do the work to confirm the historic resource. There's no reason that we can see why that is not done. That's the first step. The second step would be to go through some environmental work, preliminary economic assessment, and then I think we can move fairly quickly further forward. Feasibility construction is very simple, and the operation could potentially be up and running quite early.
My last question to Bejanca is what you and the company expect on CAPEX to bring this in production? Speak with 5 million, 10 million, 500 million?
Yeah. Well, it certainly won't be 500 million. We are thinking that the Bejanca operation, and obviously depending on scale of operation, but it potentially could be in the order of $5 to $10 million. So it's not anything that is an outrageously high capital cost. It's something that would be very well handleable, particularly, of course, if the economics are robust.
Thank you, Jim, for the update. It's really great news. I hope everything running well, and especially this idea to have near-term production sounds really great.
We hope so, and we're certainly looking forward to some success in that area.
Ja, das war jetzt ein kurzes Update vom Jim. ich meine, die News sind natürlich schon sensationell. Wenn Sie es schaffen, das wirklich das eine Projekt so kurzfristig in Produktion zu bringen, wäre das eine Sensation, weil das natürlich genau den Cashflow bringen würde, den wir benötigen würden, um keine Dilution mehr zu haben. Also eine Verwässerung ist ja meistens das, was die meisten Rohstofffirmen in Probleme bringt, und deswegen wäre das natürlich eine Sensation. Ja, wir werden sehen, was die nächsten Nachrichten so bringen. Die es kommen jetzt in den nächsten Wochen dann einige Bohrergebnisse vom letzten Bohrprogramm, das vor Dezember beendet hat. Und was auch noch extrem wichtig ist, Sie haben auch vor Dezember eine Finanzierung bekannt gegeben, wo Sie über dem aktuellen Aktienpreis ein Placement gemacht haben. Die erste Tranche ist bereits geschlossen, die zweite Tranche, an der arbeiten Sie gerade. Und das ist auch sehr, sehr unüblich für Rohstoffunternehmen, dass Placements über dem aktuellen Börsenkurs geschlossen werden. Also hier Update vom Blackheath, schaut super aus, ich kenne ihn schon extrem lange, man kann absolut drauf bauen auf das, was er erzählt, und von daher bin ich extrem positiv, was da noch auf uns zukommt. Tschüss.